Okay, we've officially hit umbrella levels, though I'm somewhat wary of how this is going to work considering all the overhead vegetation out here. It started raining on me last night while I was eating dinner. Never really hard, and the tent was dry this morning, but it's drizzling on me again. Looks like that's going to be the thing for the next couple of days. So I was just starting my second pass on yesterday's video. Happened to have the internet turned on for a minute and got a heavy rain incoming warning. So I made a snap decision to pack up while I could still have my rain fly and everything in dry storage versus wet or damp. I will often wait it out if I think it's just going to be a little burst of rain, but I don't think I'm avoiding the wet for the next couple of days, so I am on the move. This is the sort of thing I was picturing when I decided to come back out east. Okay. So I am just above Lincoln Gap, close enough I could hear voices of people in the parking lot. Last night, found a nice, really dispersed site out there. And today, and possibly for a little bit, it looks like water is the big concern. Several of the shelters did say that they had trickles. I am somewhat mistrustful of far out comments at this point because a few of the ones that people said were trickles barely collectible, they were easy to collect. It was obviously just somebody was trying to do the smart water only method, which sometimes is easier to collect, sometimes is harder. For the record, if you don't want to do a CNOC, just bring a Ziploc and you can use that to kind of scoop water if you need. Saves you having to bring a cup that you're going to have infected with dirty water. But the other thing is a few sources I thought were going to be running have not been running. If I had my wish, I would be going to Lake Pleiad today. However, that is more miles than I have made any other day. I think it's still 18, 19 miles from here, so I'm not counting on that, especially since extra wetness can result in chafing and other things where I might have to cut the day short, but play it by ear. Enjoy the day for what it is. I appear to have road crews working on Lincoln Gap here. Yeah, you know, at least this rain gear I've been carrying this entire time is getting some use, right? We'll see if I actually need the umbrella. I think it's more of a totem at this point. And that is the first water cache I have actually touched. Figure it's good to be cautious considering a word from up ahead. Though it's a little silly to be worried about water in the rain, usually. Okay, we've officially hit umbrella levels, though I'm somewhat wary of how this is going to work considering all the overhead vegetation out here. Oh, it is nice to not have the top area soaked though. I brought my fancier umbrella. I think it's by Hyperlight or something like that. Costs twice as much, but it handles wind a little better. In retrospect, maybe I should have brought one of the cheaper beater umbrellas since I'm gonna really have to watch it. I've ended up catching my pad and other things on branches quite a lot out here. Trail is maintained immaculately. It's just, you know, lots of vegetation and sticks. Oh. Just ran into one northbound hiker. He was trying to make it to Battelle to make breakfast and find his rain cover because I guess everybody's had their rain gear buried if they were carrying it at all. he said that a couple of shelters, Emily Proctor, etc., were flowing. So as I kind of expected, not too bad of a thing. Also, that other rainstorm didn't seem to touch any of the water sources, but considering the amount of puddles this is building up, you know, maybe this will regenerate them for a little while. I really appreciate hiking with an umbrella ever since on the ADT I hadn't brought mine, and then Anton came out to see us and lent us a pair, and that ended up being such a huge thing on the American Discovery Trail, where often it's, you know, wide open and you're going on roads and whatnot, and there your only problem is the wind blowing too hard for me to be able to use the umbrella. I've warned Jen multiple times and she ended up breaking one because she was trying to use it in a gusty storm. I end up just having to put him down at that point. Like when I was getting rained on in Valhalla, I had my umbrella out, but I kept popping it down whenever the gusts would hit, and then I could redeploy it. I don't remember if I tried to carry one on the AT. I know I tried to use them a couple of times in SoCal and ended up leaving them in hiker boxes and other things, just because whenever the sun or the rain was enough, I was so exposed to wind, it was pretty much useless. So I had a piece of gear I was carrying that I wasn't ever going to use. However, on the AT, the big problem I had is, you know, you get a storm like this that lasts for a couple of days, and like the phone would get so wet I couldn't charge it and things like that. The problem here is I need to be able to use my trekking poles to step down stuff and for traction, bad knees and all that. So I basically, I don't have a hands-free kit. I just put it under the sternum strap, and that has worked better than several hands-free kits. I had a pack that had one built in, and I bought like the Gossamer Gear hands-free kit. So this works really well as long as, you know, you don't have a super tall pack or like have, you know, things stacked on top. However, I don't have much peripheral vision up top, so I keep running into branches and things, and I'm really worried about ripping it. Oh, I would so much rather be out in the snow. So much less messy than this. There we go. Oh, now I'm feeling AT. Oh, look at the clouds and the colors, though. That is pretty cool. Just ran into another 70-year-old hiker headed northbound. Thing is, when you get weather like this, there are people just kind of like lost in their misery, but most of the thru hikers, we all just seem to kind of like shrug, smile, and keep trudging onwards. Because what the heck else are you gonna do? Embrace the suck and all that. Oh wait, wrong coast. No rain, no Maine, and all that. One of the hikers I had passed a little ways back was all excited because she'd seen a bear at the shelter when she passed through. Sadly, I still haven't seen any bears or any moose. Plenty of signs of them, though. This has been kind of miserably soggy. Not raining much, but with the vegetation overgrowth, sopping wet. Oh, hey there, you new. And welcome to pretty much the worst terrain when it's just been raining. This has been the worst maintained section, having to crawl over logs, under logs. Okay, 4 o'clock. Next 2 shelters are dry, and I didn't think I could make it 7.8 more to that lake I was looking at. This is pretty much one of my least favorite types of hiking. It is cold enough to be unpleasant unless I'm moving, so I get chilled every time I stop for something like eating or filtering. Everything is a bloody mess because of all the wet leaves and the water coming down from everything. And it's not cold enough where I can really layer up, because if I'm moving, everything's sweaty and damp. Trail is going a lot easier as promised, though. I've already done 11 miles, and I'm tired, but it's nothing like what it was on the northern end. So I am limping forward, but I will in all likelihood end up pulling over at some point when I get tired of just being sopping wet. Well. Okay, I'm just beat, so I got creative and I made something work. This is matching with the longest mileage day I've done so far, 13.7, but easier trail, wimpier me, I guess. Other than getting tired, the trick has been the rocks have gotten really, really slick, so that slowed me down again. And I am just tired of being wet for the moment, so I'm going to make this work, crawl in, and cook some dinner. Home sweet home. Yeah. At a certain level of filth like this, I just throw on long johns and call it good.